My business is changing dramatically in the next couple of months, and I'm making this video mainly for the audience of Two Brothers Talking because I know you'll listen, even though it's only a handful of people. Hi, Mom. But I'm also making it for anybody else, any other creators that are interested in watching this, because I think this is, I've reached a point where I think a lot of us get to after a while. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what's going on and maybe why you haven't heard from me on the regular. I was being pretty consistent for most of 2024, posting weekly updates about my business, about my writing, about all the lessons learned and things like that. But I stopped that in the last 2 weeks. And of course, there's a reason. And I want to talk about why. And so I'm going to jump right into it. So there's 3 reasons why, and I've got it written here so I don't miss anything. But there's 3 reasons why you haven't seen me in the last couple of weeks or why I've pulled back. The main reason is that my subscriptions on things ran out. It first started in March. I haven't really posted it. I haven't talked about this in a while, but in March, my podcasting subscription was due, and I would renew annually to my podcasting host. I decided not to renew, which meant I had to cancel all of my podcasts, including Two Brothers Talking. Technically, Two Brothers Talking is canceled. It doesn't exist anymore. Like, try and search for it on Spotify or whatever you were listening to it on. You won't find it. Probably not anymore. Because I couldn't afford the hosting anymore, or I shouldn't say I couldn't afford it. I could afford it, but podcasting, it was one of those things that I started out doing, but I've realized in the ecosystem of creative works, podcasting is kind of inferior, which is a shame because I love the audio format. I love voice acting. I love just being behind the mic like I'm doing now. I really wish I could do this as an audio thing, but it's a lot easier to share as a video. So I'm doing it as a video. But yeah, I really enjoy podcasting, but unfortunately, not as many people listen to podcasts as watch videos. And so that was one of those business/creative decisions that I had to make was, damn, do I keep paying for this hosting where nobody's really listening to these podcasts? Serious Unlimited was by far my most popular podcast, but even that, since I had finished the project at the end of 2023, the numbers were, they were tapering off, as is normal, because I wasn't promoting anymore. I wasn't talking about it anymore. So it makes sense. So I thought about it and I was like, no, this isn't really worth it. So yeah, I got rid of it, and that was the end of that. And then the other thing that came due was my subscription on Twitter X, and that was a tougher decision to make. I had paid for the annual subscription for the Twitter Blue, they called it last year, and then they've changed it to X Premium. But I really had to think hard about it, and I was like, I'm not really getting much value out of this. Like, there's certain things that I kind of miss, like the highlights tab and things like that. But as far as the growth, I think that was the big selling point was, hey, you're going to get a boost if you pay for this. And I think I'm not alone in this. I've seen many people complain about it over the last year that it doesn't really do that much. You're still, you see less ads, and there's some minor annoyances that you don't deal with as much, but it's still, the whole point of it is to grow, is to get your account in front of more people. And I didn't really see that happening with my account. And this is going to lead into the second reason why I'm changing things up in the next couple of months, but I didn't see that growth happening. So I was like, why the fuck am I paying for this? Like, what am I paying for here? Like, my account, I still get swamped by bots all the time. I'm not really growing very much, even though I was posting pretty regularly. And I've posted across the spectrum of stuff, and yeah, my shit just didn't really hit. So part of it is just my stuff. That's always a factor, but yeah, part of it is just, they just squash you. And it's not just X, Twitter. They all do this. And I'll talk about social media in a little bit because it's definitely weighing into my decision why I'm doing this, why I'm changing things up. But yeah, I was just like, this doesn't really seem worth the money. So I'm not gonna re-up, and I didn't re-up, and so I lost my verification, and I don't really care because nothing's really changed that much. Like my account is more or less the same, and that's pretty sad too because it just shows, and because I was paying for the last year, and it's negligible to see how much it grew. It's hard to tell if it was effective at all. Okay, so that brings me to the second reason why I had a hard time. I was gonna title this video "My Business Is Dead," but that's way too clickbaity. I just wanted to talk about why I'm changing things up pretty soon, and the whole social media landscape has become tiresome, and I always hit these highs and lows to where with social media I go back and forth with certain things, but yeah, I'm just tired of the the stuff on there, and it's not just X Twitter; it's all of them. It's all of them. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but I recently did a video, the last one I did before I kind of fell off, about social media. Hey, you should, this is my experience on these platforms, and if you're interested in that video, you can go check it out. Based on my experience the last 2 or 3 years, heavily using these platforms for the specific purpose of growing my business and getting people to find my work, my creative work. And I feel like kind of a fraud having made that video because I don't really understand it. Like, I think I do understand it, but it's hard for me to understand it, how it works for me, because it just feels like chasing cats. I was thinking about it. Like, sometimes they're super easy to catch. They're just laying around. Other times it's just good luck trying to case that damn thing. And it's always changing. It's always different. Just the drama, the vitriol sometimes, and it's not always that. I mean, I know there's good parts of social media, and I've met some great people in the last year on there, specifically through social media. I would have never met them otherwise. But the stuff that you normally see, you have to dig to find these people, the good people, because the game players and the rabble rousers who want to get people riled up, the charlatans, the bots, all the just the normal people that rise to the top on social media, the stuff that you normally see if you're just looking at your feed and you're not intentionally searching. It sucks. It just gets tiresome, and you see people getting boosted and stuff going viral for just the dumbest shit. And I'm just like, I'm posting this other stuff too. Like, I've made songs, I've made entire books, I've made graphics, videos, you name it, across the board. And I don't know what it is. I really don't understand it. I don't want to make this into a complaint video because I don't like watching those. But bottom line is, I'm over seeing that, and I want to focus my time in other areas. I'm also tired of the social media creator format, if you will, the typical, like, do your social content and then do your newsletter and then give them a service or whatever. It's taken me a long time to realize that doesn't really work for what I'm trying to do, for what I want to be on social, or what I want to be known for, and what I want my business to revolve around. It just doesn't work for me. I'm not one of those guys trying to just get a bunch of numbers and get a bunch of clients in front of me so that I can sell them a specific product or service. I mean, that's not my main goal. It is a goal. Of course it's a goal. I'm running a business, but at the same time, there's a lot of people on social media they just make it clear that's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to run up that scoreboard. And I had to be honest with myself about, am I really going to be able to do this, because it takes a lot to. That's one of the reasons I stopped doing the videos, the weekly videos, because those videos took hours to make. I would have to record the video, then I'd have to edit it, and then I'd have to upload it, and then you got to make a thumbnail. Well, you don't have to make a thumbnail, but you make a thumbnail or whatever. It's just, it was like a 2 to 3 hour process every time. And I was like, one, I hate doing that shit. I hate spending that type of time, especially for something that is not really my focus. And I'll get to that next. But yeah, I was spending a lot of time doing that, and I didn't really enjoy that. And then, of course, the whole content thing, you know how I feel about that word. But that's what social media comes down to. Content wins. Stuff that's created specifically as content. And it's become this type of thing to where that's what wins on social. You can't just post your work and get seen. And that's the annoying thing, is because that's what I want to see. I want to see other people's creative work. But most people, a lot of people, I'm not going to say most people, but a lot of people on social are making content specifically for social. And for the last 2.5 years, I've played that game too. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to make graphics. I'm gonna learn how to make videos. I'm gonna try this, that. I've done all these other things, and I've done my best to align it with what I want to make with existing projects, but I'm not going all in on content, because once again, I want to be writing books. I want to be building out my story universe, that type of thing. And I don't go all in on content. So what I've seen is the people that do go in on content, that's the stuff that rises to the top. And if you're doing this half content thing, then it doesn't work. At least it hasn't worked for me. And so that's, yeah, the whole social media playbook thing. I'm the creator playbook. I'm done with the courses. I'm done with it just takes too long to execute as one person. And when I look at my time, I'm like, would I rather be making another piece of content, or would I rather be working on my next book? The answer is pretty obvious to me. And that's where I'm at. The next reason is audience alignment. These last couple of weeks, I've been working pretty heavily on the Japanese translation of my novel, Sirius and Limnic. And obviously, when you're working on something in Japanese, that means most of my audience, which of course are English speaking, they can't access that. And so I've been on the Japanese side of social media, on my Japanese Twitter, on a Japanese blogging site. I've been on there, and I've been trying to build that up. And that naturally pulled me away. And of course, with my subscription running out on X, then now you saw me even less on X now. But so another interesting thing came up in this whole translation process, which was when I pulled away from the English speaking side, not only did my social media just tank on all of them, because they all work that way. It's a lot of it's based on recency. So if you stop posting on any of them, even for just a day or two, then your account and your posts are automatically just deboosted and flushed down. That's how they all work now. But the other thing was, I realized that most of my audience on my email list, and even those who probably follow me, don't follow me for my writing. Like, I don't know why the hell they follow me, but they're not like the main thing that I want to be doing and I want to build my business around, which is writing books. It seems like very few people are following me for that. They'll follow me for creative advice. They'll follow me for podcasting, maybe. Hell, sometimes it's even my music, which I don't make music regularly because I use music as part of my storytelling, but they're not following me for my writing. And so I was writing, and then I wanted to send out a snippet or something, or a post about my book on the Japanese side. Of course, I didn't have anybody to send it to because I don't have any Japanese people on my email list yet. But it was also just kind of sad when I thought about my English my main email list and the people that are on there. And when I was writing Hayden Brave, I saw it, but I was just so in the writing process back at that time, 2 months ago, that I didn't really have time to analyze it and really think about it. I was just like, okay, let's just get these updates out, write the book, updates, just publish. But now that I've had the hindsight and time to really sit back and think, like, yeah, most people were not engaging with those emails. A lot of people just weren't interested. I don't know if they were turned off. A few people unsubscribed when I was in that kind of blitz mode. But the point is that, yeah, I was writing a book actively in real time, and it wasn't fiction, but it was a book. And there were very few people on my list that were actually interested in the book. Most of my sales came from just other. Very few came from my email list, and that was eye-opening. It was humbling because it was like, okay, they're not interested, at least not as much as I thought. And it's sad too, because a lot of people on my list are people that I know, which is, it's just great. I'm glad they support they've supported me and all this stuff. And maybe you're one of them on the list, and maybe you're just busy. I know everybody's busy. Everybody's got their own stuff going on. But I've reached a point to where this is what I want to be good at. This is what I want to be known for, is writing books, whether that's fiction or nonfiction, whatever book I'm putting out. And if you don't have readers or people that are interested, then you don't have a business, and you need to go find those people. And that's where I've been at. And this is the other big reason that I'm changing things up very soon, or that I have been already starting to change things up, is that I'm heading into a new season of life. And so bottom line is, I'm not going to have the time to do what I've been doing the last 2 to 3 years, to where I can sit here, I can experiment, I can be on social media and engage regularly. Like, I don't want to. I realize that's not the best use of my time. It hasn't been effective. I don't like doing it. And the things that I'm excel at, I have less time to do, because I was spending on making content for social media and shit like that, or making stuff for email lists and things like that. Like, this stuff is super time consuming on the back end, and it hasn't yielded results. And so that brings me to what's next. What you're going to see from me in the next few months is a focus on what I want to be known for, which is writing. Whether that's fiction or nonfiction, then that's what it's going to be. And if you've been on my website recently, maybe you've seen there's certain things that I've set up. The first thing is, and I'll do this, and I'll share screen since we're to this part now. The big thing is I've added a couple of things. The first thing is I have this new Write a Book tab, where all of my things to help you write a book. Let me bring myself in. There I am. Hello. All my things that help you write a book are right here in this place. So, this is for a nonfiction book. This is going to be Novel Commander. Once I finally get to Serious Olympic Escape from Okinawa, I'll be updating that. And there's that. And then there's my portfolio, and I made this was a weekend project, this little game that I made where you can go in and look at my resume and things like that. I thought it was my wife thought it was very cute. Anyway. So I've also added this tab, Essential Creator Skills, and this is something that it's a shame it hasn't taken off yet. I don't really understand why. And I think I don't know what it is, honestly. I've been trying to get people to fill out this survey to basically help them with various creative skills, but I haven't had anybody fill it out in the last few months. I don't know why, but I keep offering it because long story short is I've collected a lot of skills over the last 2.5, 3 years of being an active creator. whether it's making music or sales, marketing, doing graphic design. I mean, I've come a long way. And if you're anybody who's interested in taking your stuff to like the next level and really not just making something, but actually selling it, finding an audience, all that stuff, these lessons didn't come quick or cheap for me. And so I want to help you get there with this tab. So that's why I added this. And then I have this Be a Super Author tab. This is basically my gifted book writer program. I set this up for those who are serious about writing a book and really want to commit to the process. Then I've set this up for you. And it's a one-on-one thing because I basically realized that the whole client-based business is not for me. That's not the type of business that I want to create. I really want to make a business to where I have the freedom to write, and I have this large library of written works, and people are snatching those off the shelves, the virtual shelves or the physical shelves, and I can really go all in with one person and help them bring something to life. Like, I don't want to do this thing to where, oh, well, if you pay me this much, then I'll get you this far, and just down the line, keep paying me. I don't like that model, because I know myself, and if I'm working with you, then I want you to have the keys to the kingdom. I want you to know what I know, and I want you to be successful. I want you to commit and complete something, because that's what I would expect from myself. And so anyone that I work with, I expect that of them as well. So that's why I set this up to where it's a one-on-one thing. You can read more details and go to the website. And then this is something I'd been meaning to set up for a long time. I wish I'd started earlier when I was here in Japan, but here it is now. The Tower of Babbling Japanese. This is an extension of Tower of Babbling. It's in the same family, but it focuses on Japanese. And what I'm doing here is making a curriculum one day at a time to help anyone learn Japanese from scratch. And this is meant to, you can see the different days, and it's meant to cut down all the noise of all the tools that are out there and everything that you could use, from YouTube channels to apps, Duolingo, all these things that you can use to learn Japanese, and really focus you in on, okay, just do this today and that's it. Then the next day, do that, and so on. And that's why I've set this up. And I've been doing it for the last week or so, and I've already got a week's worth of stuff on here, and then a simple donation button if people are interested in supporting the book, supporting me through the book. That's good too. And then of course I have my books here in Works, so people can go in, and if they're interested in getting Serious and Limnic or the Japanese version, then they can go find it. So this is the future of Hack Studios for now. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to a reshuffling of priorities for me, less time to sit in the seat, and just less time for experimentation, which I've done well on that this year. I've really cut back on all the stuff. And I'm glad that I did what I did last year, because I really found a confidence in working with the new technology, with AI, with some coding stuff, that has really allowed me to take my storytelling to a next level. Certainly it's made it a lot faster and efficient, but yeah, the time has passed, and I always told myself, when it's time to switch gears, then it's time to switch gears, and I have no regrets. That's one of the reasons why I sit here in this chair so much and work on stuff, because I'm always aware that there could be a huge shift around the corner, and for me that shift is coming up very soon. And so you gotta pivot. That's the way life goes. Things change all the time. But if you watch this all the way through, thanks for listening. And in your business, I hope, or your creative work, if you don't have a business, I hope that you find some balance, because this is not an easy thing to do, because there's no, unlike in the past when I was in the military or other jobs that I had, there's no playbook here. It's just you show up and you make things. And I joked with some other creators a couple of weeks ago that they were like, "Hey, Keith, what's your business?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I make things and hope people buy them sometimes." And I realized it's not a very good business model. I know it's not a good business model, but it's, yeah, you have to be honest with yourself at the end of the day with all this stuff. The stuff that comes easy for you, you gotta chase that. And for me, the top two things that I'm best at is writing and learning languages. And with publishing Sirius and Limnic in Japanese, I'm super excited about that because that's given me the confidence to really be like, okay, this is a huge differentiator for me. I literally don't know anyone else who can not only publish books, but publish books that they've written themselves in other languages. And that's, yeah, I've got some exciting ideas around that, but they're undeveloped. But these are my two kind of superpowers. These are the things that when people look at me and be like, "Damn, that's kind of unfair that he can do that. He can just absorb stuff that fast when it comes to those things." And I guarantee you have something like that too. But you have to be honest with yourself because unfortunately, I can't just do those two things and have a business because then I'd never be on social media. I'd never make videos like this if I just did that. So there has to be this balancing of practicality with creativity, and that's not an easy balance to strike. Trust me, I've been trying to figure it out for the last couple of years. It's constantly changing. So I just have to really be willing to flex and adjust, and that's the way it goes. So I'm going to end this video. That's all I got. If you got any comments, leave them in the comments down below. And if you're interested in any of the stuff that I went over, go and check out my website and give it a look. Till then, next time, I'll see you next time. Or I'll see you later.